Hello, I'm the genuinely beautiful and moronic Cat, and I'm excited to give my first film review of 2026, and is of a brand new film that just came out as of this recording yesterday. I am reviewing the newest feature from legendary horror director Sam Raimi, his newest film, Sand Help, starring Rachel McAdams and Dylan O'Brien. First, I want to preface that I've already posted a written review of this film on my Letterboxd account, so if you're much more of a reader, then I would encourage you to go and read that review for yourself, and I will provide the link in the comments. But if you prefer to listen and hear what I have to say, then stick around as I share my genuine thoughts and opinions on this new horror thriller from Sam Raimi. So, a brief summary: a meek employee named Linda, played by Rachel McAdams, and her new nepo baby boss, Brandon, played by Dylan O'Brien, survive a sudden plane crash on a business trip and are stranded on an island. And from there, they must survive the horrors of nature. But what they don't expect is that they must learn how to survive each other. And that's the basic premise of the film. It's a very simple and straightforward film. And in fact, if you look at the runtime, it's actually a very quick movie. No 2 hour feature. It's a very you're in and you're out movie, and it's perfectly suited for that because as much as the plot is very basic and bare bones, the film itself is not. The main selling point that I want to point out of this film, aside from just Sam Raimi being involved, is that the film is a great play of expectations. Even being aware of the trailer, you would still get pulled into the story and how it develops as the film goes on. Because both of these characters do present themselves in a way that, if you understanding of romance tropes, if you have a good understanding of those, you can easily identify what kind of character Linda is or Brandon is, and see the kind of footsteps that their journey takes within the relationship. But since this is not a romance story, and this is a horror thriller, you get to see a more darker and twisted version of those tropes and put into their extremes. It's not realistic. I do want to say this is not some movie, at least in terms of the character, how the characters would act. It is nothing like that. There's nothing real realistic about them. Because if you or I were put into the situation, and this movie would have been very short and resolved very quickly if this was realistic. But no, this is not some realistic movie exploring two regular people trying to survive. No, this is a movie about two extremely flawed individuals put into a interesting situation in which they are forced to act upon their worst selves. And Brandon's case, it's a lot more obvious of seeing his more, I guess there's no better way to say it, his more evil nature, or if not evil, maybe that's a bit too strong, definitely his more flawed nature. But it's also a showcase of seeing Linda, who, by the way her character is presented and shown at the beginning of the film, you definitely do want to root for her. But it doesn't take long for the viewer to realize there is a darkness within her, and soon enough, by the halfway point in the movie, you're not witnessing some sort of triumph of good over evil, or seeing two characters come together to overcome these struggles. No, you are seeing not the absolute worst, but you're seeing people brought down to their selfishness and their ability to manipulate and lie in order to gain the advantage of one another. In many ways, I guess you could say it is the perfect stripped down conveyance of one another that's within our own flawed human nature. And through our characters, we really do get to explore that aspect of humanity, that very dark and messed up nature of allowing our dark impulses to take over in order to either keep or to have something that we believe that no, we deserve that, and we're not gonna let anything stop that. Now, of course, I'm avoiding spoilers, so all of this very much sounds like what am I talking about? But I encourage you to watch this movie so that you get so that you understand of what I'm trying to convey, because this is also a movie that you can have many arguments of who was in the wrong to begin with, who was in the right. It's honestly a great movie where you can have genuine debates of how the characters acted towards each other. And at a certain points, both characters do something that's very much unforgivable, and because of that, it makes it a lot more interesting to see how things turn out in the end. Because I know for myself, by the end, I can only speak. I can only speak for what I wanted. Uh, I didn't want either character to get what they want. If I wanted justice, the justice would have been that they continue to suffer in the island, because honestly, they deserved it. They deserved it. So just saying that is enough to tell you that you know the ending, to give away that what type of ending it might have. So I won't say more than that. Also, I do want to make a note, just a brief note, that it is also good to see Danny Elfman return on a Sam Raimi picture, and that's pretty cool. Now, he makes a score that fits the movie, so don't expect, you know, Spider-Man. Come in with your expectations that he is making a film score that is suitable for the type of movie this is, and we're not gonna have over dramatic and very melodic score that was Danny Elfman's iconic Spider-Man score. So, but it is good to see him back and do a very good job in making the music. And I do want to also point out that because it is a Sam Raimi feature, you still get a lot of his signature quirks as a director. From I think like early on, you get some extreme close-ups, his fun use of perspective, and of course his ability to shock you and just catch you off guard with the way he edits, the way he has his editors edit his features. So it is still, so even though he's only on the directorial duty, it's still a pure Raimi film through and through. To end it all, go watch it while it's in theaters. I would love to engage anyone who's seen the movie and just discuss with them the ending, the morality tale of this film, and discuss how maybe if either character didn't act the way they are, they wouldn't have ended up in the situation they were in. Because you can go on endlessly about how they could have avoided this disaster altogether in terms of what happens to them in the movie. So yeah, go out, watch it. And if you can catch it in theaters, when it eventually comes to streaming, watch it there too. It's a great movie, and I'm glad that this is my first movie of 2026. Here's to looking for more great features in the next 11 months. Until then, this is Hack. Sign out.